Good morning, children. Welcome back to economics class. I hope all are fine. I'm just yet to correct your answer scripts. Okay, I hope all of you might have done it well. See, in the last class, we just finished with what are the types of BOP disequilibria. Under that, we learnt cyclical disequilibria, secular disequilibria, and structural disequilibria. And now let us go into the what are the causes for disequilibrium in the balance of payment. Disequilibrium means the ratio of receipts divided by payments will not be equal to 1. Okay, either it will be unfavorable or it will be either the exports will be greater than the imports or the imports will be greater than the exports. Now let us understand what are the causes for this disequilibrium to happen in balance of payment. First thing is cyclical fluctuations. Suppose if the country is undergoing the cyclical changes or the changes which are existent in the trade cycles, that is a period of depression, period of prosperity. I think we learnt in the 4th chapter, if I am right, the different phases of trade cycle. If the country is witnessing the depression phase of the trade cycle, then definitely the exports will be less than the imports. Automatically disequilibrium will occur. This is one of the reason. This you call it as cyclical disequilibrium. Disequilibrium because of cyclical fluctuations. Next is structural disequilibrium, structural changes. The disequilibrium causing because of the structural changes. When will a country go for structural changes? The developing countries which wanted to grow, okay, what do? They buy huge, they require huge amount of capital to build their infrastructure and bring out huge developmental changes in their infrastructure, for which they want huge amount of money. So in want of huge amount of money, they borrow from the developed countries. As a result, what will happen? The amount of money that they owe to others will be on the higher side. That is, their export will be less and the imports will be on the higher side. Because of this, disequilibrium occurs. Okay, so because the huge developmental changes, if they are required for a country, okay, in that case the imports will be on the higher side. There will be high propensity to import. For what to import? High propensity to import capital. Okay, for what reason? For rapid industrialization. They want a huge amount of capital. Next is development expenditure. See, a very clear example for development expenditure is, I remember talking about this during our classes. All our neighboring countries, when you see Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, okay, and a few of the other smaller countries which are surrounding India, all those countries have bought huge amount of loans from China. For what reason have they bought huge amount of loans? For developing their infrastructure, for the development of their country, because all these are less developed countries. They wanted to develop their country. Okay, one thing is, see, Sri Lanka, when you see, Sri Lanka attracts more of tourism. Okay, so they have developed their infrastructure so beautifully that with the intention of getting huge amount of income through tourism, the country is very well developed. So for want of money, these countries have depended whom? The developed countries. One of such country who has lent money to all these less developed countries is China. Now these less developed countries, it will take years for them to repay the debts that they have bought from China. So for years together, they will be repaying only the interest portion. They can never even, okay, think of repaying their capital that they have borrowed, because the amount of money that they have borrowed is so huge that how much ever their GDP increases, they cannot repay their original capital amount that they have borrowed from China. So what will happen in the longer time? China will automatically take economic control over these less developed countries. Okay, now when you see, India is surrounded by all small countries who are the economic victims of China. So whatever China says, these countries have to follow, because they owe a huge amount of money to China. As a result, what will happen? These countries will be under the control of the developed country. As of our example, it is China. So what will happen? Automatically the import tendency will be very high and the export potential will be very, very low. So because of this, the LDC means low developed countries, will definitely suffer from adverse balance of payment. Suppose to set right this balance of payment disequilibria, what will they again do? They cannot increase their GDP all of a sudden. It is not at all possible. Again, they will borrow from some other sources. And again, the debt will only be increasing. Okay. The next topic is consumerism. See, the balance of payment position can also be affected where in few countries, the consumption itself will be very high. When their consumption is very high, when will consumption be very high? When the population of the country is very high, consumption will be high. Okay, or when the country's consumption pattern itself is on the higher side, they don't save anything, whatever income is earned is being spent, means for such countries the consumption will be high. So when consumption increases, automatically what will happen? They will import the goods and consume. When importing tendency is increased, automatically the export capacity will fall down. Okay. Next is demonstrative effect. Demonstrative effect means trying to imitate whatever others are doing. That is only demonstrative effect. We learnt this topic in some other in 2-3 lessons before, if I remember. So many of the underdeveloped countries, they try to imitate the pattern or the way or living style of the westernized countries. India itself is a good example of demonstrative effect. Many a times we try to imitate the Western countries in our behavioral lifestyles, in our lifestyles. The dresses that we wear, we have totally moved from our original way of dressing to the present way of dressing. Where have we taken it from? We have taken it from the Western style culture or from the Western culture only. So when we start experiencing this demonstrative effect, automatically our propensity to import will be high and this will automatically affect the balance of payment. Next is borrowing. When we constantly borrow from other countries or from the international agencies, what will happen? The amount of money that is due to be paid by us to the other countries will increase. When this increases, automatically when money borrowed increases, automatically interest to be paid also increases. When this keeps on accumulating, we become indebted to those countries and the burden is very, very huge. Servicing of debt is a huge burden. Servicing of debt means what? Constantly paying the interest amount for the loans that we have borrowed is servicing of debt. This will literally mount our heads. As a result of that, okay, the underdeveloped countries, they face the disequilibria. Next is technological backwardness. See, because of technological backwardness, people are unable to use the energy whatever they have. See, for example, we are technologically very, very poor with respect to energy generation. See, solar energy is abundantly available, is it? Why should we think of not utilizing the solar energy and why should we buy petrol from other countries? Because we are not technologically developed. That is the reason. So, because of this technological backwardness which is existing in few countries, they are forced to buy products, okay, which they are unable to produce in their country itself because of lack of technology. As a result, what will happen? Imports will be on the higher side. Okay, when imports are more than exports, automatically disequilibrium will occur. Next is global politics. This global politics is maximum done only by the developed countries. See, for example, very rich countries like USA, they produce a huge amount of arms and ammunitions. When we think of production of food or weapons, those countries, they choose the production of weapons more. Okay, and they have invested huge amount of money on weapons. To sell away these weapons, what they normally do is, okay, they want customers to buy their product that is being produced by them, that is weapons that is being produced by them. So what do? They create demand for the weapons. How do they create demand for the weapons? They literally, okay, play between the countries who are already in rivalry. Iran and Iraq. Okay, they are already rival countries, so they stimulate their rivalry among them, and as a result of that, what will happen when they end up in war? Okay, definitely they need weapons, and these developed countries like USA will supply weapons for them. So this you call as political strategies. Okay, you call it as global politics. The same is happening with respect to India and Pakistan. Okay, see when war breaks out between India and Pakistan, definitely one huge country will support India, other country will support Pakistan. Okay, because the country who is supporting Pakistan will supply arms and ammunition to Pakistan. As a result, what will happen? The arms and ammunition which is produced by that country will be sold to Pakistan. Okay, so by this, global politics is being played by the developed countries. So these are the ways, okay, causes for disequilibrium of balance of payment. Next is, having understood what are the causes for disequilibrium, we need to understand what are the measures to correct the disequilibrium. We need to understand one correction. The important correction is automatic correction. We have to just leave it to the market forces. What are market forces? Demand and supply are the market forces. Okay, so see, when price increases, what happens normally? When price increases, demand falls down. Demand falls down, okay, because the prices are very high. When price increases, supply also will increase because they wanted to utilize the increase in price. As a result, when supply increases, what will happen? Excess supply will lead to fall in price. When fall in price, when prices falls, automatically people will start demanding more goods and services. So automatically demand increases. So this you call it as market forces. Okay, the market forces. So the price increases and decreases according to the operation of the market forces. No one is coming and intervening here to adjust the price or to control the price. What is getting adjusted? How the price is getting adjusted here? Only because of the demand and supply conditions. Likewise, okay, the correction of the disequilibrium should be left to the hands of the market forces of demand and supply itself. Okay, so automatically what will happen? The balance of payment will automatically restore. Okay, and the interest, the variables like interest, price, income, and cash flow, everything will come to its place by automatic correction. This is one of the corrective methods. Next is price adjustment. Just a second, children. See, when there is as a result of just a second, as a result of foreign exchange outflows from the deficit country to the surplus country, when money flows from the deficit country, that is where in a country where imports are high, what will happen? When our country's imports are high, money from India, let us assume that we owe our imports are high and we owe huge amount of money to the country from whom we have imported. So what will happen? Money will flow from India to other countries. Okay, that is outflow of money from deficit country. Where does it flow? To a surplus country, because to a country which is exporting their goods. So what will happen is, in India, money supply will fall down because we are paying huge amount of money to the other countries because we have imported goods. So when money supply contracts, what will happen? We learnt under the quantity theory of money. When money supply is doubled, price doubles. When money supply is halved, price also is halved. Yes. So when money supply is shrinking, automatically price also will shrink. Okay. When money supply is reducing, what will happen? Price also reduces. When money supply is halved, price also will be halved. So when price of the commodities are reducing in our country, what will happen? It will attract exports. Okay, this will encourage exports and automatically the disequilibrium will be restored. Okay, please understand the concept, children. Okay, next is interest rate adjustment. This is also similar to the price of the commodities. Interest rate means it is with respect to capital borrowings. Okay, the contraction or expansion of money supply resulting from balance of payment deficit or surplus leads to rise or fall in the interest rate. Like how price is applicable for goods and services, no? Like that, interest is applicable for the funds that is being withdrawn. Okay, see, suppose a rise in the interest rate in the deficit country, what will happen? In India, the interest rates are on the higher side because we don't have enough money. Assume the same condition. Okay, we have only less money supply. Okay, so as a result, the capital becomes very costly. Okay, when capital becomes costly, it means that interest rates are on the higher side. When interest is on the higher side, automatically what will happen? Many foreigners will come and invest in India, because India is because interest rates are high. As a result, it will attract investors, okay, to withdraw their funds from abroad and invest in our country, because we are giving high rate of interest. So the opposite will happen in the surplus countries. Next is income adjustment. A nation with payment surplus, that is surplus nations who have high money supply. Okay, so what will happen? They will import goods from other countries because they have got enough of money with them. As a result, what will happen? They buy goods from other countries. Because of this also, disequilibrium could be adjusted. This you call it as income adjustment. We have a small flow chart depicting this. Next is capital flows. The changes in the rate of interest consequent to BOP disequilibrium will encourage capital flows from surplus nations to deficit nations, helping restoration. See, when capital flow is there, because of the changes in the interest rates, what will happen? The countries who are very rich, okay, they wanted because their money supply is very high in rich countries. As a result, what will happen? They wanted to invest their money in less developed countries. So what will happen? So money will automatically come to deficit nations. As a result, where money supply is less in deficit nations, it will increase now. Okay, so automatically disequilibrium will be restored. The next type is corrective measure is deliberate measures. Deliberate measures means how the government voluntarily takes corrective measures. One is monetary contraction. Monetary contraction means high domestic price level. High domestic, suppose for example, when the price of goods and services are very high within our country. Okay, this is when prices are very high within a country, it will automatically lead to high imports, because people will start buying such commodities from other countries. See, a very simple example. Why more of China products are dwelling in India? Because such products, okay, where the China products are available in India, our Indian products are high priced for that commodities. That is the reason why people prefer, okay, imported commodities, just because the price is low. So what will happen is, just because in our country the prices are high, we are depending on imports. So what the government will do here is, it will put a check to control the prices. So when the prices within our country is getting reduced, what will happen? We will not depend on foreign countries' products, because the same product is available with us at a lesser price itself. So price control is one of the important measure taken by the RBI and the government to control the disequilibrium. This is one of the very important monetary corrective measure. Next is devaluation. This also we have seen. In 1991 was the recent devaluation. Sorry. Recent devaluation also we saw. See, what is devaluation? It is a reduction of the official rate of the currency. The domestic currency's value is being reduced. Okay, what will happen when Indian currency value is reduced? It means that all these years I have been paying to buy $1. I paid 70 rupees, Indian rupee, to buy $1. Now our money value is reduced, it means that I have to pay 80 rupees to buy $1. That is what it means. Now when our country's money is devalued, what will happen is, it will make exports cheaper. Okay, our Indian value has become less. As a result, what will happen? Other countries will prefer Indian products. Okay, our export will become very economical and imports will become very costly. Okay, so what will happen? Indian goods will be very cheap for the foreigners, because our money is being devalued now. Okay, so Indian goods will become very cheap for the foreign countries. But foreign goods for Indians will become costly, because I have to pay more money, 80 rupees to buy $1. It means that for me it will become costlier. but whereas for foreigners it will become, our Indian products will become cheaper. Now what will happen when our Indian products becomes cheaper? We will attract more of exports. Our exports will automatically increase. This will lead to restoration of disequilibrium. Sorry children, just a second, wait. The next measure of control is exchange control. Now here the government will intervene and fix the exchange, foreign exchange, to control the disequilibrium. Under exchange control, the government or the central bank will assume complete control over the foreign exchange reserves and whatever is the earnings of the country. When the government takes full control over the exchanges, the recipient of the foreign exchange, like the exporters who get the foreign exchange currencies, they are required to surrender their foreign exchange to the government. For what? In return of the domestic currencies. When such control is being taken by the government or the RBI, okay, the countries who involved in the exchange of currencies, they have to surrender their foreign exchange. They cannot directly put it into the country. They have to come via the foreign exchange board only, exchange control board only they have to come. So automatically the amount of money that is getting into a country and going out of the country is being controlled by the government itself. So when this is being done, when the money supply entering into the country and going out of the country is being controlled by an exchange board, automatically the disequilibrium will be restored. Okay, but the other consequence of this is, when the government is putting too much of stringency on the money supply getting into the country and going out of the country, this will lead to smuggling of goods. Okay, people will automatically do what? They will try to bring in to the country the commodities, okay, without the knowledge of the government. You might be seeing in many of the movies, okay, via the sea routes, they bring containers of smuggled goods into the country, and through air transport they bring the commodities into the country, which all these are brought into the country without the knowledge of the government. So what will happen when the government is posing too much of threat to these threat or control regarding the money supply? The business people, okay, they tend to smuggle the goods via the airports, okay, which we see in the media and all, or even in the movies also we see. Next is trade measures, export promotion. See, what the government has to do is, government has to encourage more of exports. Okay, how to encourage more of exports? One thing is, the export duty should be abolished. Okay, by reducing or abolishing the export duties, what will happen? People will be motivated to export the goods to other countries. And another thing is, they have to give proper incentives for people who are doing the export promotion businesses. Next is import control. See, for giving good encouragement for exports will increase our exports. On the other hand, we have to curb the imports also. So the government has to impose or enhance the import duties. Only when heavy import duties are being levied, what will happen? Bringing a commodity into the country itself will become very costly. As a result, we will not do it. So, imposing or enhancing import duties and fixing quotas, okay, or giving licenses or prohibiting the license for certain essential commodities, all non-essential commodities should be done by the government. So, by doing this, the imports will be controlled. Next is miscellaneous miscellaneous measures. Apart from all this, what are the other measures to corrective measures for controlling the balance of payment disequilibrium? Is foreign loans. Okay, foreign loans, the position, when we to control the disequilibrium, foreign loans should be provided to settle the export-import issues. Next is we should encourage more of investment in the home country. See, why do we import goods from other countries? Just because we cannot produce here, or production is very costly here. That is the reason. So to avoid that, the government has to do foreign investment in the home country itself, so that we produce in India and we utilize in India. Next is development of tourism to attract foreign tourists. So our infrastructure and the tourism the tourist centers should be developed very well. When tourism is developed, what will happen? It will attract many of the foreign countries to come to India for tourist purposes. Whenever tourist numbers increases, automatically amount of money supply into the country will increase. Okay. Next is providing incentive to enhance inward remittance. Okay. So whenever any inward remittance, that is money coming into the country. Okay, so they have to give incentives whenever the money is being inflowed into the country. Next is import substitution. Why are we importing a product? Because we don't have any particular commodity here. That is why we are importing them. So we have to produce a substitute commodity for that. A very clear example is petroleum. We are importing petroleum to a greater extent. Okay, so what should we do? As a result, our imports are high because of petrol itself. So we need to find an alternative or substitution for petroleum. What is our substitute? Solar energy could be a substitute. So production of the substitute should be encouraged. As a result of that, what will happen? Imports will reduce. So with this, I shall finish today's class. In tomorrow's class, we shall discuss about the exchange rates. Thank you, children. Okay, I want you to learn just a second, wait, let me check the. So homework for today will be part B of this chapter. Okay, I want you to write all the answers of part B, that is chapter 7, part B, the 7 answers. That will be your homework for the day. Okay, thank you, children. Have a good day. Bye.